So one of the things that Shivananda said to Swami Radha, um, as she was coming near the end of her time in India, he was encouraging her to help people. And so that's what she started doing as soon as she landed in Canada, was starting to help people and finding her way in doing that. She was a pretty new yogini. One of the things that she was noticing was that people in everyday life seem to be caught in polarities. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm right, I'm wrong. All those, which you may recognize some of those, but we all have them. We all have these kind of rigid kind of ideas about who we are, how we are, and even about life itself, how life should be or shouldn't be. And these polarities, I thought Ilinuk last night, I think most everybody was in satsang, but where just her very first story where she was talking about her brother and the cat's paw. No, he loves me. Oh, he doesn't love me. He loves me. He doesn't. Depending on the cat's paw, where the cat would place the paw. So, I mean, it was humorous, but I mean, I can recognize that in myself where I go, "Oh, it's this way or it's that way, or it has to be this way or it has to be that way." So those polarities and that there is a part of our mind that really likes to do that. It likes to create a kind of safety or clarity or whatever that illusion is that we create for ourselves. So some people, the people who are on the retreat, um, maybe put your hands up. You did the life seal. Congratulations. 2 days of drawing and then starting to interpret your very own symbols. And this is a quote from Swami Radha about the life seal. She created the life seal again very early on. And she said, "This self created picture, a life seal, helps you to see. If you set aside all your self justification and your intellectualization, the unconscious will use the opportunity to speak." So it's like we have to set aside something in order to be open to receive from the unconscious. So I often think of it as that we're opening ourselves in that process to ourselves. It's like somebody else isn't opening us. We're doing it ourselves with our willingness to step in. And she uses that term, the unconscious will use the opportunity to speak. And I was thinking about the unconscious today and like, what words would I use? And one is a very dear friend. It's a very dear friend. It's very wise. It wants to help me. And one of the things about the unconscious is that it tends to have a soft voice. So it may not be the voice we usually hear ourselves use or we hear other people use, but it's a softer voice. And so, in order to hear it, we do practices. And so, for those of you who may be new to the ashram, you know that before you answer any questions um, or you do any kind of reflection, we do a practice. And the practice is to still that part of busy mind and to open ourselves to hear something, to see something that may be new, may be different. Um, and I like, well, there's this quote, Swami Radhananda. She says, when we no longer rely on what we think we know, something else can happen. So when we let go of what we think we understand or know and just keep ourselves open, we might hear something different, see something different, understand something different. And so the practices, I often think of them as real acts of surrender because I'm not going in with a preconceived idea. but I'm trying to go in and open myself up to hear something or see something that can be given in that process. And it's a real act of trust. It's trusting that I don't have to accept what comes, but it's a real trusting of whatever it is that I'm opening myself to. So, as I was saying in the beginning, we tend to have, well, I'll talk about myself. I tend to have ideas about who I am and how I am and what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. And and also I can recognize that I have a number of shoulds. I should do this, I should be this way, um, expectations and that I've taken on. And today I was thinking, well, what is that like? Like those strengths and those polarities, the strengths and weaknesses. And I was thinking it's like a pair of shoes that are too tight, or it's like a shirt that I put on that I can hardly move in. And so what we're trying to do is make more room. So the practices help us get a bigger shirt or get a pair of shoes that are the right size rather than trying to hold ourselves tight. And I'm guessing that in the life seal, I'm not sure, but you were looking at strengths and weaknesses, weren't you? Were you? Strengths and weaknesses, okay. And then one of the surprising things that often happens is, oh, hmm, there's a weakness in this strength. Or, yeah, this is really a problem. It's really a weakness. And we find a strength in it. So we've jumped out of that polarity and opened ourselves up to something else, to see ourselves in a little bit bigger way. And every time we get to see ourselves in a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger way. So the power of the questions and of the practices is really takes us back to the question of who am I? Who am I really? Not the labels or the images, but who is this person in here? And also, what's my potential? I don't have to stay where I am in this moment, but what's my potential to grow? And I think of it as we become more visible to ourselves. We start to see ourselves perhaps in ways we hadn't seen ourselves before. And one of the things that Swami Radha talks about is she says that we are the creator and the interpreter of our own lives. And um, this was one of my favorite quotes from Light and Vibration. She says, "The use of energy is our responsibility and our choice. People don't realize how great that responsibility is. Energy is neutral. And just as electricity can manifest as heat or cold, energy can take opposite forms, and yet it's still the same energy. How we use our personal energy is our responsibility." So, again, it puts it squarely back on us. Our choices, how we move forward, what we say yes to, what we say no to, it's our responsibility. And sometimes as we look back in our lives, it may be just last week, it may be, a few years ago, we start to, oh, I made that mistake. Oh, I wish I hadn't made the mistake. Or we start to feel bad about some things that we've participated in the past. Um, but again, this is another favorite quote from the same book. To be given another chance is probably the highest expression of compassion. To be given another chance, highest expression of compassion. And where does that compassion come from? And here we use the symbol of Divine Mother, that over and over again, she will come to our aid. She'll offer us, okay, all right, yeah, here's another chance. Come forward. And one of those is Tara, one of the Divine Mother images. I'm sure as you've walked around the ashram, those of you who are new, you see many, many images, especially if you've gone to the Divine Mother prayer room. Lots of images of Divine Mother. And Tara is one of them. So I brought her here tonight. Some of you may have already heard this in the class that you're in, but she always has her right foot extended. And that is symbolic for her willingness to do exactly what that quote is, to come. We come to her, we say, oh, I made a mistake. I feel so bad about it. And she says, here's another chance. So she's readily available